Just because you don't see prostitutes walking the streets often doesn't mean they're not there. Prostitution is a billion-dollar industry in the US. It flourishes underground, on websites like Backpage.com. This makes it hard to police and fertile ground for human trafficking.
Backpage makes it easier because the men can buy whatever they need. They can buy rugs for their wives, gifts for their children, and buy a child as well.
Websites like Backpage are able to operate because of loopholes in free speech laws. New legislation is pushing to correct this problem, but experts say it would chip away at our free speech. Some think the best way to deal with prostitution is by legalizing it altogether so that it can be regulated. That's what the Netherlands did back in 2000. But has it worked? 8 years into legalization, Amsterdam's red light district was overwhelmed with human trafficking and criminal elements. So the city began a gentrification project to clean things up. The 1012 project, as it's called, has closed down over 125 window brothels and is still planning to close down 35 more.
It was just too much. There were too many brothels, too many coffee shops in this small part of town, which made it impossible to stamp out criminality.
The city loaned many of these brothels to artists and designers instead of prostitutes, but many of those businesses failed.
People don't come here for the art. People come here to have fun, to visit the girls, not to go to buy art.
Felicia Anna is a sex worker who runs a blog all about the red light district. She didn't want to appear on camera and requested to disguise her voice. There she is in 2015 with the mayor of Amsterdam and Jasper, his spokesman, at a big protest she helped organize against the gentrification project.
Our list of demands signed by sex workers, we want the project 1012 to stop. We don't want it to close down. Closing down our windows doesn't fight crimes. We want our windows back.
In response to this outcry, the mayor's office proposed a new solution. They'd give some windows back to the sex workers and launch an initiative to help them run it themselves. They'd call it My Red Light, and in the process, sex workers would become empowered.
To me, that sounded like a great idea.
Lyle Moons is one of the first sex workers that signed up to be part of the project.
When people think about sex work, they immediately think about drug abuse or about human trafficking or about all sorts of negative connotations. And the idea that somebody could make a conscious choice for this job and that somebody's feeling comfortable with this job, that thought is completely alien to most people. Very often sex work comes along with a lot of stigma, a lot of taboo, even here in the Netherlands.
Lyle is now a member of the board of My Red Light, which is run as a foundation. Justine Leclerc heads up the foundation. She's a former sex worker.
This is the first time they can really think about their future. And they don't have to hide that they were sex workers. So now they can think, oh, maybe in a couple of years I will be manager there. And we can help them.
Right now, only about half the staff is composed of sex workers. The other half of the sex workers who'd been training to be managers weren't able to secure a position because they couldn't pass the background checks.
The disappointment for them and for us was very big. Yeah.
This created a lot of tension in the project, with some of the women threatening to sue the foundation for false promises.
They're always saying that they want to improve our positions. But every time they turn you down because you maybe made a mistake before, that's not improving. That doesn't help.
If you have any ties to drugs, to weapons, to money laundering, or to terrorism, or to fraud on a huge scale, then you're not going to be able to get through that screening, which is a good thing, because you don't want dirty money to be pumped into this world.
My Red Light is still very much a work in progress, and in the meantime, the human trafficking continues.
The red light district is not what we think it is, what the tourists might think it is. If you see a young girl from Eastern Europe smiling, doesn't mean she's happy. It might mean she's smiling because if she doesn't smile, she doesn't get any clients. She doesn't get any clients, she doesn't get any money. And if she doesn't get any money, she gets beaten up when she comes home. Which does not mean that every girl in the red light district is being forced. I don't believe that, of course not. But I think a lot of them are.
Felicia agrees that some sex workers are connected to pimps, But for many of them, she says, it's a necessary evil.
The problem it is, especially if you're foreign, there are no information about how to start in this job. And then the problem starts because there are other people who know how things work here and they help you. But of course they don't help you for free.
Felicia says that foreign sex workers also need some capital to begin in the industry.